Hello YouTube, this is the Compound Fracture Gaming channel. Today we're continuing our game of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. It is winter and it's been like a solid 5 days since the last time I streamed, so I think the first thing we should do is carry on looking around. This is episode 9, welcome. So where are we at right now? Right now we have a lot of debt, yes we do. We have all of these 60,000 ruble loans. About half of them are paid off. This is the middle point right here, and that's more than half, which is a very good sign, by the way. If the middle loan was less than half, we'd know that our debt is increasing. As it is, it's staying about the same, which is okay since we're spending a lot of money constructing things. Enough money that I think when we stop constructing things, we'll be in very good shape financially. Our mine is almost completed, I believe. Yes, it is. We still need 2,000 more work days, but we have 118 workers on the construction site. Let's hit play and we'll keep going. See what happens. Here's our little town. How are we doing here? We have a lot of room still in this most recent prefab we've built. This is going to be our new snowplow area, and that's very important. We need more snowplows. No construction offices are within range, it says, and I'm not quite sure why that's the case. Oh, now I understand. There is construction on this gravel road. We'll just buy this for 300 rubles, and in that way this can start constructing immediately. Okay, it might take me a second or two to get back in the swing of things. It has been quite a while. We're building gravel roads here, and we have dump trucks available. We're waiting for asphalt deliveries. Where are those at? We don't have any trucks on the way right now. I think it might be on here where we've got a paver working away, but we also need asphalt. I think it might be that both of our dump trucks are on the site here, and we might have only 2 dump trucks within this road work thing. Yes, we do. So we need to buy more dump trucks, unfortunately. Let's buy 2 more. That's 1, and we need another loan. Oh, shoot. 10,000, okay, I meant to do more than that, but whatever, that'll do for now. Buy a second dump truck. We'll turn that back up to 60 when we have a chance. So now that we have 2 more dump trucks that have been purchased at that construction facility, hopefully that means that we will soon have asphalt coming towards these roads. Let's look. Here's one. This dump truck is indeed picking up asphalt to bring it to this road, 10 tons out of its 12-ton capacity, so that's perfect. What's happening here? This is interesting, though. This dump truck has 9 tons, and that's what we need, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. This is actually quite concerning, because we are not missing asphalt whatsoever. We have enough here. So it's one of 2 things, I think. Either the paver is busy over here and we need the paver, in fact, and this is a bit misleading, or something has gone wrong. I totally believe something may have gone wrong because I find that the way dump trucks work with construction sites is often an issue. So let's keep an eye on that. Here the dump truck has the asphalt. And this will be done very, very, very soon. Meanwhile, over here, we still need all of the stuff. We have a lot of workers assigned. Let's turn that down slightly so we don't take too many workers away from our bus stop. Though we do have plenty of workers waiting at the bus stop. We have 2 construction buses, I believe. No, that's a farming bus. That's also a farming bus. They have filled up with many, many workers, and they'll be driving towards our factory. Meanwhile, we've gone through these crops very, very quickly indeed this year. We need to take out another loan. 60,000, borrow. Okay. So, what's going on here? We have been producing food faster than we can grow the food this year. So we should be thinking about this bus line. There's a lot of buses on this line. There are 4, and I think that's too many. So let's take this one, this SM11, and we'll assign it to our construction depot instead. I don't really care about these 18 workers. They are unnecessary, but that depot is full. So that's an issue. I think we have some decisions to be made here. We already have 2 buses in the construction depot. So I think we might have just too many buses overall. So let's go back here and we will take a look at this one with its 18 workers. Where is it now? It's pulling in and it's dropped off its people. Okay, so we will reassign this to the depot. And we'll put this on the mining line once the mining line is done. It's a good sign that we have plenty of workers because we'll need them soon for our coal industry. So what's happening here? We have 4 buses all heading with workers towards this line. This one's almost empty. It only has 5. This one has 48 workers, though. Let's take a quick peek at our webcam. Our webcam isn't in the best spot. I think it may be better. Last episode, we had put it above the minimap, but I'm going to put it beside the minimap, and we'll see if that's better. It might not be, but we'll see. Okay, back to the game. Like, what would we be blocking over here? I don't think very much. I think that's a pretty good spot for it overall. I do love the ant farm appeal of this game. I love watching my little workers run all over the place. Our football playground seems to be overfilled, so we need to think about a second football playground. I think we might put it right in here behind these 2 buildings. That seems to be good balance against the one at the other side. So let's do that immediately. Right there looks good to me. Now we'll think about pathways. So let's demolish that for now. Instead, we'll do that. And then that. Then extend this one out this way. And across. Hook that up like so. Hook that up like so. And I think that's good enough for now. So this one, we don't need that many workers again. In fact, there's only 71 work days, so I'll turn this all the way down to 10, and we won't steal too many workers from our bus stop. I see a bunch of orange buses are filling up, so how are our orange buses doing? We have this heating plant with just enough to be functional. Looks okay to me, though. And the coal power plant is even less full. No workers at all? Oh no. Here come buses, though, just in time. So we're okay there. We will need to put more buses on this line soon once we are using the coal ore processing plant. But we're not quite there yet. Meanwhile, there are 22 workers. When we started this episode, we had 2,000 workdays left, so we're a third of the way through that already. That's good progress. Now let's look again at these roads. Now this asphalt road is completed. This one does not have an asphalt paver on its way at all. So I think there's problems here. I think there's a little bug. We'll just fund construction from rubles. We might as well at this point. But we're out of rubles. Oh dear, more loans. It would be nice to know why our money is going so quickly. We are exporting power, but not much food this month so far. But this month's only 2 days in, so let's go to the beginning of the year. We have 60,000 in exports here. And in the same time frame, we have only imported 44,000, including 12,000 in steel. And that steel, plus the bitumen, plus the bricks, and a few other minor things, are all construction costs. So we are making money, although at the same time we're paying an awful lot of interest in the loans. So that's a concern. Perhaps we're paying so much interest that the profits we're making are not enough to sustain us. Meanwhile, I see there's a lot of trucks getting asphalt, going to unfinished roads. 3 unfinished roads. Have we, oh, must be this one. Yes, we have a long road being built here, and the asphalt paver is here. I think what we need to do, since we're building so many roads, is build a second asphalt paver and hope that that helps. I think we should also have one open haul truck. This open haul truck will have the job of trying to haul around these construction mechanisms, the paver, roller, and excavators. Although ideally we'd have more than one truck, I don't think it makes sense because oftentimes these trucks will sit idle. Okay. So here we have all the materials we need to construct, and that's very good news. In that case, we should be adding some more workers, I think. So that's the entirety of the construction right there. Once that's done, we will need more money to buy some more snow plows, but we need money already to pay for loans. Let's see how these recent loans compare to previous ones in terms of efficiency. This one only lasted 6 days. The one before that lasted 12 days. Meanwhile, up here, we see 13 days, 12 days, 9 days, 15 days. So it looks like our loans are picking up pace. We are requiring more loans now than we did a while ago. And that's very unfortunate news. However, once the coal mine is done, hopefully that'll turn around. I do hope so. Meanwhile, we don't have that many workers waiting at the bus stop, but we also don't have any buses nearing the stop at the moment. How does our population look? So if we say all this year, which is all winter, we do have more births than deaths, and we have no escapees. So that's pretty good for the winter. I think we're doing okay there. Let's go back to looking at our heating plant. We have 5 workers there. That's fine. And 6 in the coal plant. That is also fine. Okay. The mine is making progress. Come on, winter. Our snowplows seem to be keeping up now, although we didn't think they were earlier. So perhaps once the new logistics or technical services office is completed, we might actually decide to wait on the construction of new snowplows until next winter when we'll need them. Maybe we'll just put 2 or 3 in here for now. That's probably a good compromise solution. Our playground is now completely built, and as long as it has staff, it is very well used. Strange that this one only has 18 max visitors, whereas this one has 20. I'm not sure why that's the case. That's very strange. These playgrounds are very popular. How's our farm doing? The factory currently has 31 workers, which is about the state we want to keep it at. Meanwhile, these 2 grain storages are empty, and this one is starting to empty out. So we've used almost 3/4 of our grain production from last harvest season already, and it's only February. So it looks like at this point, over the course of this year, we have brought too many workers into our food factory. We should look at reducing the buses maybe further. Oh, I thought I moved this bus. Oh, I did. I see it has the flag here. Let's just take it off the line completely so we're not confused in the future. Meanwhile, there are 2 dumpers and an asphalt paver here. And we have... Okay, we're running without issues. We're okay here. This road having been completed, I think we should flag this area for construction next. I see we have 2 pathways dividing this, unfortunately, into 3 areas. So I'm going to pause the game briefly so that we don't assign construction to the middle segment before the outside ones are done. Now this is completed. It says it has no power supply, so we're probably going to need a new power supply here. Oh, but it should have powers, and I see that the building itself is without power supply. We probably need more workers at our coal plant. The buses are on their way. We will, I guess, leave them to it and hope that it happens sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, we need a new loan again. Not ideal. I think once the coal mine is done, well, once the coal mine is done, we'll probably want to continue work on our brick factory. So I was going to say that maybe we'll take a break on construction, but I don't think we'll do that after all. We do have to be very concerned about money now. We were a little bit cavalier last time around with money. Once we got the power plant going, we started to feel overconfident about our income. It's working now. There have been workers have arrived. We're struggling to get the coal imported. Last chance to buy. No thank you, game. That tram is out of date, and we don't need trams anyway at the moment. The coal mine is not working. Where are the construction buses? Are they going somewhere else? No, there are 4 construction buses all heading towards this building. 32 workers in that one, 66 in that one, 3 in that one, and 50 in this one. So that is a total of about 150 workers. That'll get it going nicely. Looks like the snow's melting. That's great news. Just in time to finish our technical services building, which we do not need. So we'll wait until next year to spend that money on those snowplows. Although for now, it might make sense to transfer 4 of them over. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, close this, and we'll tell all of these to transfer. And that way, we will be a little bit faster in getting moving on clearing the most important roads next year. Okay. We could also think about having a gas station closer to town. But that's a project for the future. How is our store doing? I'm going to increase this to 15 sellers because we're looking close to the top in terms of shoppers a lot of the time. So if we increase the limit here, we will be able to most certainly keep all of our shoppers supplied with goods. All right, what's next? This road is almost done, and that'll speed up everything when it is. Now that winter has passed, I think we will tick down the heating plant slightly. Well, maybe not. It's still only 4 degrees. I'm going to take that back, move it back up. I do want to change this gravel road for an asphalt road, and I want to rebuild these. Though at the same time, all of these city roads, I've said this a million times, but I guess I'll say it a million more. I don't want to manually do construction on these urban roads. That is a pain in the ass that I am not prepared to handle. So how's the mine doing now? 50 workers and 400 work days. That'll be done very soon. And then we'll take this bus that is waiting at the depot here, which used to be on the food run, and we'll put it on the mine run instead. And we'll also add, I think, 1 more bus from the food run because we have 147 workers in the factory right now. There's no need for that, and the crops will be gone very soon. What's happened is our population has increased, but our number of bus lines has not. So these big buses are often leaving full, whereas a little while ago they were usually leaving empty, or near empty. Okay. Progress is happening. The mine's almost done. I'm excited. I'm not going to start the brick factory quite yet. Our fields are looking almost full, especially this new one we've built, which is closer to more of the residential buildings. We might even consider putting a 3rd field in pretty quickly, though I don't think we're quite there yet. How about our schools? The kindergarten's almost full, and the school is more than full. We have another teacher shortage, so teachers and doctors, it's time to go to this building and move some of the citizens over here. Let's move 20 over and then hire 10 more experts. And we can only afford 5 because of loans. All right, another 5, please. Okay. So hopefully that's enough experts to fill our classrooms. I guess we don't actually need that many staff. It's just a lack of teachers there. Meanwhile, patients wait for treatment as well. I think I'm actually going to invite another 5. We're very low on educated workers. We need to think hard about putting in a college. Oh, we're so close. I can feel it on the coal mine. We are almost there. And then it'll be time to rejigger the bus lines. Okay. How's our money looking? So if we look at this whole year, we do have 118,000 in income and only 84,000 in expenses, which includes almost half of that is probably construction costs. So we're looking okay here. The vehicle costs, the 27,000 or 28,000, that's the thing that draws us even. So really we're just spending money mostly on vehicles and also a little bit on interest. And immigrants, of course. All right. Oh, come on, workers. Where are the buses? We have 25, 60, 7, and 0 on that one, but oh, that's 80, not 60. So let's look at where this one is. That will be our last bus of workers we realistically need. And it's almost at the mine. Good news. We'll watch this number increase together. That's plenty of workers to finish construction. So I'm going to go against what I said earlier, and I will in fact begin construction on the brick plant because we don't actually need to do anything about this mine. It'll finish on its own. So let's start that construction. This will be expensive, but not nearly as expensive as the other buildings we've built recently. Okay, the mine is almost done. So I'll start to assign this bus. We want to load with all workers except educated workers. And then go to the mine once it's finished. Almost. Almost. And it's done. Okay, and we're going to unload there. We'll start you right away. No time like the present. Then we'll go to this bus stop and look at these vehicles on the food route. I'm pretty sure that 2 of them are right side by side, and I see that they're all currently on their way back to the bus stop. Yes, there's 3 right in a row here, it looks like. Yeah, no, that one's going to the coal mine, so it's just these 2 that are side by side. Where's the third? I guess the third just picked up people. So let's take this middle one, and we'll assign it to the coal mine route. Okay, I think that's good for now. So as this coal mine finishes, we're going to need people at this processing plant, but we're not quite there yet. It can begin filling up the aggregate storage. Oh, there's no power supply. That's a problem. So let's work on that. We'll pause the game while we do so, because we really need to get this going. So we'll go to infrastructure, medium voltage power lines. And I think we want it somewhere that will work for the other coal mine to come if we can. I'm not sure if that's practical though. So let's just put it here if the game will let us. Here it is. We'll flatten the train. Doesn't look like the road's connecting now that we flatten the train. So how about here? That looks just fine to me. And then we'll use these mid-size lines, and we'll maybe just connect straight to the power plant. Let's do that. I want to do this so that it can be as cheap as possible and go along this side. Okay, that worked. Now we'll go down to here, and then to here. And I am going to... Oh, am I going to fund it? No, I think I'm just going to tell it to build. Well, maybe not. Let's fund the power lines in the power plant, or in the little medium, the transformer here. So we've spent about 7,000 doing that, unfortunately, which means we need a new loan again. But we have a functioning coal mine now, and that's what matters. Only 21% quality of source, which is, terrible, frankly. But that is the price we pay for using the default map, which has more realistic resource placement. I really don't like custom maps where you can put your coal mine in a spot where you get like 80%, 100% or something like that. It's not so great, really. I am not a fan. All right, on we go. What's happening here? No mechanism. And no mechanism. We don't have asphalt here either. So I guess all the mechanisms are tied up on this set of road, but that's only a roller. I don't really know what's going on here. This is very strange. So we have dump trucks, and we have pavers, but they're not going to the road construction. And it is assigned. It's these two that are in the city. Road construction does always feel very buggy, unfortunately, in this game, and I'm a little concerned this will not work the way it's supposed to. But we'll see. Meanwhile, the snowplows have arrived here. We'll tell it to prioritize both asphalt and gravel over dirt. And the same here, we'll up asphalt. Oh, and we'll definitely tell this to work within 3,000 meters. Building on fire. It's the hospital. That's okay. That's close to the fire department. We should be fine. We'll have some injuries, and fortunately, the injured people are already at the hospital. I hope that's a good thing and not a bad thing. I'm not sure. Yes, this is not great. The roads are not being constructed the way they're supposed to. How's the power doing? It's doing fine. How's the coal mine doing? We have workers and we are producing coal. That's excellent. And the aggregate storage is filling up, so we need to make a tweak here. This bus stop needs to now split workers between the coal power plant and the coal processing. Like so. We'll do 60-40 or something along those lines. That looks good to me, 58-41. And we'll also buy a couple new yellow, orange microbuses in order to make sure that both our coal processing and also our power plant have plenty of workers. This will help us, actually, to increase the reliability of the coal power plant, because we don't need more than a handful of workers to work there. We just need to make sure there are a consistent supply of workers, and more smaller buses is good for that. So let's do that for now. We might need a third. I'm not sure. Actually, let's take one that's on this route, because we will need less people for the heating plant at this point. We can jack that down a couple points. And we'll see if we can find some that are... This one's going to the power. This one also to the power. It would be nice if we could find some that are all in a line. These two say they're also going to the power, but they're going to the gas station first, which is interesting. How many are there on this line? 5. Okay, you know what? We'll leave it as it is for now. See what happens. I think I'm we'll jack that. We'll turn that up one more. 6138 seems a little bit more on the money. But we have plenty of workers in both places for now. Meanwhile, this is filling up. We are going to turn off the auto buy and hope this works the way it's supposed to. Yes, there it comes. Oh, that was a dump truck from the border. I mean, I'm sure it works, right? I think what we should do is, instead of telling this to unload at the power plant, we will tell it to unload at the aggregate storage, taking off the power plant, wherever that is. Where are you, power plant? That's the heating plant. Oh, this is the power plant. And we'll tell this to only unload if the storage is under 20%. Oh, make it 30%. So if we start running out of coal, we'll begin to import it, but we'll hope that we build up a surplus. So 30% of 1950 is somewhere in the neighborhood of 700 tons. Once we get above 700 tons, we will stop importing coal for this facility and only import it for the heating plant. And actually, in the long run, I think we want to stop importing completely, and we want to tell those trucks to take from the storage and bring them to the heating plant. But we'll wait until we pass 1/3 and make sure that we've got a steady state happening here before we make that change. Meanwhile, our clear bottleneck is the mine, not the processing plant. And that makes sense considering it's only a 21% source and we can't seem to keep workers in there. So we need a new bus. We also need more money. Let's take out a new loan. And we will buy a nice big bus. This one. Maybe two. And we'll tell the first one to go on the coal mine route and start. We'll tell the second one to also go on the coal mine route, but we'll wait a little while before we start it. Our money situation is still dire. It will get better, though. I wish we'd counted the number of loans at the beginning of the game, but again, if we look at the middle one, now the middle one has less than half paid back, so that's a very bad sign. That suggests that our debt is increasing rather than decreasing. I think we've waited long enough. We'll start it now. Meanwhile, our fields are planting. Our crops are just finishing up, so like the entire growing season, we will not have any crops at all for our food factory. And it might make sense to shut down these two buses. In fact, I think it does for now, because we don't actually need the food factory going at all right now. So let's shut these down, tell them to go to the depot. That'll save more of our people for construction projects and for the coal mine. Meanwhile, we have plenty of workers coming in here, and construction's going very well indeed. We have a tower crane. The first one's arrived, and there comes the second. So this is moving very quickly. It's too bad we're using lots of bricks to construct our brick factory. But that's okay. All right. The coal storage does not seem to be increasing in coal, which is unfortunate. We have a few dump trucks like this one who are picking up at the customs house and dropping off at the aggregate storage, but it's still not enough to quite keep up with demand. Fortunately, our coal mine should have more workers soon, and we are producing almost 60 tons per day. Meanwhile, here we're using a max of 120 while our number of workers sits around 10. So that's probably 80 at the moment. So the mine is certainly still the bottleneck, and already we need more money. This is very concerning. So what I have to do, even though I hate it, people, I hate it, is sit on my hands and not build more buildings for the moment. So the worst part of playing this game on expert mode is you get these moments where you can't do the things you want to do. Your hands are tied by budgetary constraints. Those are my least favorite words, budgetary and constrain. Our playground is doing poorly. We do not have staff. I think we do need a second playground, so forget what I just said about not building anything. We will build another playground. Just have to decide where. Be nice if it could fit in beside the school. I doubt it. I doubt it'll fit there, but let's check it out. Oh, that's close. But close is not quite good enough. We could put it in here, but we need that area for a future road. I don't want to put it right next to the other one. That seems silly to me. How about we put it over here? I think that'll leave enough room for the housing that we will want in the future. I think that's perfect. So we'll build some pathways like so, and one that goes across the back here and comes down to this road. Like that. And there, and oh, that was a mistake. We'll remove that one. We'll try again. There we go. Seems good. Now again, we'll lower the workers to like 15 because we only need 71 total work days there. That'll pass quickly. Why, oh why can't we keep this field staffed? Maybe I should use the mod that has football playgrounds that have more than one worker spot, because that would make more sense. Oh, and it looks like there is an asphalt roller that has finished construction here, so we didn't need to be quite so worried. It does seem to be working just fine. Okay. How's our coal mine doing? We have 53 workers. Our storage, meanwhile, is up to 300 tons. That's more than it was last time. That's a very good sign. Our power plant is powering away. Our heating plant is working also, even though it's not strictly necessary. I mean, I suppose it is necessary. It's still only 13 degrees out. It's still spring. Over here, meanwhile, these trucks are busy both loading bricks from the border into the storage and taking bricks out of the storage. We'll be very happy once our bricks come from within our little empire instead of outside of it. Bricks are the bottleneck in this construction project at the moment. The coal mine's going okay. This aggregate storage still has nothing in it, so the coal is being processed as soon as it's being produced. And our amount of coal in the storage continues to increase. We probably don't need these trucks. So this might be a little bit premature, but we're going to see what happens. We might have to buy stuff later. But what we're going to do is come over to this distribution office here. And we probably don't need this many dump trucks anymore either, but we'll keep them for now. What we're going to do is go to the border, the customs house, and take coal off of that list. Then we'll go down to the aggregate storage and stop unloading and instead load coal, but only load coal when it drops, when it has at least 10% full. So that will now begin bringing coal from the aggregate storage to the heating plant instead of from the border to the heating plant. Meanwhile, I see we need a new loan. This is not looking good. I think we're one loan deeper in debt than we were when we started today. We're hoping to bail ourselves out sooner rather than later. And we also need to start construction of this conveyor belt, otherwise the brick factory will be useless. I bet we've imported an awful lot of bricks this month. Let's take a look at the last month and a half, and we'll see we've imported 4,500 rubles worth of bricks. Those days will soon be over, and we'll have to decide whether we want to export bricks or not. That depends on the level of coal we have coming in. We only want to export bricks if we have plenty of coal to cover for the output. The other big question is, do we want our construction flatbeds taking the bricks directly from the factory, or do we want to move them to our aggregate storage first? And I'm not sure what the answer to that is. There are arguments on both sides. I think we probably want to take it from the storage. We probably still want to use the storage as an intermediate facility, but that could create problems if we build big buildings that require lots of bricks very quickly. So, even though I just said that, I think I'm going to change my mind immediately, and we will, from now on, take bricks directly from the brick factory. So, I will first check to see how many we need. We only need 12 tons more, so let's just immediately, we will remove the importing of bricks now, and we'll stop delivering bricks to the open storage. So that'll cause these bricks to be used up over the next period and not replaced. So only 22,000 tons. They'll be gone soon. And then as soon as they're gone, we'll set up the construction yard to pull from the brick factory instead of pulling from the storage. Meanwhile, I love that there's now 100 workers at the coal mine, and we're producing a lot of coal. But we're still using all the coal that we produce. That's not a bad thing. The aggregate storage continues to fill up, and we're glad that we turned off importing of coal. We will never need to import coal again, and that's a wonderful thing. Okay. So we're almost done here. We do need 7.8 tons of bricks. I think we have enough. Yes, we have 22. So we need one more truck worth of bricks, and then we can finish construction. We'll still need some steel and boards for the last phase. For a second, I thought that this was crooked, but it's not. Just the path is crooked. Much less annoying to fix someday. No staff again. Jeez. Meanwhile, our buildings are filling up. We should consider building a new residential building. I think that's probably a good idea. So let's put it right in here. We can destroy this path temporarily. So let's do that. Just so that we make sure that we have plenty of room to put the building in. We'll build this. Actually, since our brick building is almost done, I think it makes a lot of sense for a while to build our flats out of brick. Those are very nice flats. They're a bit less efficient to construct, but since we have so many bricks, we can we should be able to do it quite easily. So we'll build a beautiful brick flat here. Much nicer than the prefab. And once we have a prefab plant, we can switch back to prefabs, but that is for the future. So we'll build a dirt road. So there's really no point in using fancy asphalt here. We'll rebuild our pathway, like so, then connect this one. And that should be good for now. We'll turn the number of workers, though, before we hit unpause down to like 10 or something until we get enough resources. Groundwork will happen before we need bricks for construction, so that's fine. we won't be worried about running out of bricks at our open storage just yet. We still have 14 tons left here. And our brick factory, meanwhile, is probably almost done. Oh, we still need 7 or 8 tons of bricks. We just got it. Okay, so the bricks had come out of the storage. Now we need steel and boards, and there should be trucks picking up steel and boards as we speak. Here they come. There are 3 of them coming, and that would be, I think, 2 steel trucks and a board truck, I think it was. Let's see. Well, that's 11 tons of steel. The other 2 are probably both boards in that case. This one is 100% boards, and this one is only 41% boards. So that is all the materials we need. That's excellent. This should proceed very quickly between the tower cranes and having 60 workers on site once we get the materials in place. And we're out of money again. Borrow. Money may not grow on trees, but it does grow in coal mines, so hopefully we'll be better off soon. I see the number of workers has decreased here. That's unfortunate, but it's kind of the natural ebb and flow. This bus has 16 workers on board. Feels like we're almost low on workers maybe here, but there's 60 waiting at the moment, so it looks like it will be fine. Only 10 workers on site now that we have the materials in place. We'll need 1 more bus load at least of workers before that can really get going. Here's 36 more. It's probably not quite enough. Here's lots of buses coming to this bus stop. This one was full with 80. This one only had 7. Going to be a similar story here. This one going to the brick factory will not get very much, but the first one, also going to the brick factory, also not much. It's only 18 workers going in there, which is a bit of a problem, actually. Although it's not really a problem at all because we do have enough. So we're going to build another 2 small buses and put them on the power plant line. 2 small buses. Set to the power plant line and go. Actually, having 9 on that line with only 5 on the heating line might be an imbalanced number. So let's keep the other one back for now. Seems like we have tons of orange buses. Maybe it's overkill at the moment. But the brick factory does need workers. So in fact, let's turn on the other one as well. Set line. This one. Okay. So now that we've turned that on, we need to adjust these numbers. So we're going to add a building, the brick factory. And we want the brick factory actually taking a few more than the power plant. So 45, 33, 20 is probably about right. Actually, it might not be about right. We don't need to produce very many bricks. So yeah, let's rethink that. We'll put this down at there, maybe? That's about right. Our coal storage is doing wonderfully well. We now have 14 bricks remaining in the open storage, so hopefully those will be used for the next construction project, which is this flat. And this needs 62 tons of bricks, so once we finish with this particular phase of construction, and we might as well increase the number of workers now, once that phase finishes, the remaining bricks will be picked up, and then we'll switch the construction office to use bricks out of the factory. Meanwhile, the factory should have ramped up production by now, and in fact it has, so its storage is beginning to fill up. This is going very well. Everything except the financial side. But we are making progress. Now the middle loan, which is, I think, in between these two, because the 10,000 doesn't really count. The middle loan is halfway through paid off, so our debt level does not seem to be increasing at the moment. And that's the most important thing. We're almost done this phase of construction. Hello, AI Smokin' Tea. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for saying something in chat. It's always nice when I'm playing a game like this to have someone in chat. Makes me feel like I'm not all alone, and no one wants to be alone. I'd rather be in a busy, busy factory filled with my fellow workers slaving away to create bricks. Our coal mine is still doing okay. We are still... Yes, we are indeed still processing all the coal we're mining. And we need another loan. Oh, happy day. Al, okay. That's the trouble, I suppose, with a lowercase L. Looks awfully like an uppercase I. Nice to meet you, Al. Welcome. Now, this one has not been constructing. I think it's one of those things where sometimes a tiny little span of road maybe doesn't have the space to put vehicles in, just visually, so it decides not to construct. Thankfully, it's only 600, so we're going to fund that with rubles. Okay. Our coal mine for a second had no workers, but now it has at least a few. I'm not a huge fan, again, of how these buses have bunched up, so I'm going to watch this back bus here, and when it gets, somewhere around here, maybe a quarter of the way down, I'm going to reverse its direction, and hopefully that will unbunch the buses. Let's just do it now. He'll turn around when he gets to that next crossroads, and actually, at exactly the same time this bus comes through, so that was very unhelpful. Now these two are bunched up instead. So let's just do this thing where we tell him to go back the other way. We are very confused, but eventually the buses will do what I want them to. So, what's next? How is our farm doing? I don't think we're quite ready to get the food production going again yet. Our silos are still completely empty. These small fields will be the first to be harvested, and they're about 2/3 of the way through growing, so we should keep an eye on that. That's probably why our loans are coming due fast and furious recently, because we do not have food income. For a while, we were making lots of money on this when we suddenly had plenty of workers to send to the food factory, but then we ran out of food for the year. Speaking of running out of food, how is our municipal supply doing? It's doing okay, but I think it's probably importing from the border since we haven't had food production for a while. Let's check that out. And yes, we are importing food from the border. We've done it twice within the last month. It's not ideal. Overall this year, we've done it 3 times. Prior to that, we did not need to import food because we were producing plenty. So one thing we should really consider is having an intermediate warehouse where we keep a full warehouse to supply our citizens during our off-production time of the year. I think that's an important step to take. I'm not sure if we're quite there yet. The importing costs are not that high. I see we're now up to 3 viewers. 3 is 3 times as many as 1, so welcome 2 more viewers. It's very nice to see you here. Okay, our coal mine is doing well. I wish I could start a lot of lovely construction projects for you people to watch as the cranes do their thing. But unfortunately, oh, hey, we didn't watch that closely enough. We have used all of our bricks from this open storage. That's good, but we should have been more on the ball about switching this up. So now we're going to specify the brick factory, and we'll see the trucks leave to pick up the bricks, and we can continue the construction of our flat. Meanwhile, we don't need to store bricks here anymore, so we'll turn that down to 0, leaving more room for other things, which will cost us in the short term as these trucks go out to import more goods. Missing resources bricks. Hate to see it. We'll fix that soon. The coal mine is doing very well. Actually, we're building up some coal ore reserves now. And that's probably because we just assigned this bus stop to also supply the brick factory. Let's turn the brick factory down slightly and turn down the coal plant as well so that the processing plant gets a few more workers. There's plenty of workers in this brick factory because we only need a relatively small supply of bricks for our little kingdom here. Or rather, our Soviet paradise. We do not have a czar. Never again. As we borrow 60,000 more rubles. Okay. Our shopping center is doing just fine. Plenty of space for all the shoppers. Our school's doing okay, too. We seem to get enough teachers in for now. Well, I say that just as they disappear. I think we still have a bit of an issue with educated workers. I'm going to tell it to import educated workers one more time. And we really need to be thinking about that university. So meanwhile, our brick factory is replacing the bricks that have been taken from it and doing it pretty fast. In fact, we have 29 workers here. That is overkill, but that's because we filled up both of these other buildings and we've had some overflow. So that's a good sign that we have plenty of buses on that line right now. We don't need to worry about it. Maybe too many. Now we have brought all of the resources we need for the bricklaying phase. I'm going to increase the number of workers again here. Our coal storage is doing just fine. And we're getting closer to harvest time, but we're not quite there yet. I want to start a new construction. That's what this game is all about after all. So let's start thinking about our college. It might be that time. So where do we want to put it? Maybe over here? Maybe over here? How do we want to grow this town in the long run? Maybe while we're thinking, we should go back to flattening for a bit. It's been a while since we've had one of these nice, relaxing flat streams. So let's flatten away. I do love flat. Yeah, so there's plenty of room to expand our town out in this direction. Maybe we should have our university close to the main highway over here, along this section of town, because that way in the future, when we build a second town for our steel production down the road, we will be able to bus students into the university because it'll be right along the highway. It'll be very efficient. That might be a good idea. And then we'll build our city out in this direction. That seems good to me. We're almost at the point where we need another loan. Al asks if there's a limit to how much you can borrow. There is no hard limit as far as I know. However, the 2.1% interest does add up. So, especially in the early phases of the game, it's really tricky to get an early income going. And this is expert mode, so it's a little bit trickier still. And we have to be very careful not to over-leverage ourselves, overextend ourselves. Though I think we're doing a bit better. I think our total number of loans is slowly shrinking at the moment. That's because we haven't been building very many things lately. Once our food production ramps back up, that should help tremendously. But speak of the devil, a new loan. So we're still not quite at the point that we can restart food production. That is a shame. Let's start looking at university placement. So we will definitely build a technical university first. It is the cheapest. We could put it along the highway here, like so. That's not bad. Let's look to build a flat right along the road and then maybe put the university right after that. Although we do want to leave some room maybe for power lines and stuff. Though I think power lines, we had already planned to put them along the other side. We should also look at the distance to the heating plant and the power electric substation. And I think that should be fine. I think we have enough range on those two buildings. So let's look at this long, thin brick building. And it doesn't quite fit. That's unfortunate. So let's put one of these in. That looks good. And I don't think we want to start on construction quite yet. We just finished this, and no one lives there yet. We have plenty of space between these two buildings for more workers to move in. So we don't need a new flat quite yet. Okay, education, technical university. Is that level and straight and true? It is. Looks good. Now let's get a footpath. Like so. And a road. All right. Now we will let this start, but we're going to drastically decrease the number of workers because we don't want it stealing all of our workers from our factories. Come on, workers, go down. I wish there was a button that said 0 so we could start from the other end. 38 should be good for the beginning as we start to import these resources. That is a lot of concrete. It's going to take us a while to move all the concrete, especially. Though gravel and asphalt both require dump trucks, and we don't have too many of them either. As construction office, will be going full out trying to fill that university with stuff, but I see already none of the dump trucks and none of the concrete mixers are in here. They're probably all moving towards the supply buildings. Yes, there they are. There are mixers, and they're going to the university. Good stuff. That'll be the next phase of the game. We'll be trying to get a good, steady pipeline of educated workers. We're almost done with these fields. Almost, almost, almost. We could tag a few more roads to be constructed. I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. We'll manually construct some of these that are not quite necessary at the moment. So let's just hit pause briefly and we'll tag those two as well. In an ideal world, we would be building all of these roads by hand, but we do not live in an ideal world. This is a Soviet world where things are rarely ideal. Okay. Almost done, almost done. Oh, speaking of almost done, by the way, I realize we've been at this for slightly more than an hour, which means it's time to end this here YouTube episode. This was episode 9 of Compound Fracture Builds a Soviet Paradise. That's what we should call it, because that's what this is, damn it. It's paradise, people. So we'll be back real soon with episode 10, but until then, I'll catch you in a bit.